Hello and welcome to this ATRAX Premiere tutorial. In this video we're going to talk about creating new gauges and cloning existing gauges. So those are going to be the two ways to get new gauges into the system. If I'm a user, you're going to do that from the equipment screen. So you're going to come here first. You see I'm in Mike's lab. I have caliper 1 here. If I wanted to just create a brand new gauge from scratch, we have a little plus icon right here, create new equipment. You could hit Control N. Hit plus. It'll give you a list of your companies. If you have multiple locations, you can select your locations here. Otherwise, if you just have one, it'll default to your current location. Give your gauge an ID. An ID is always required, along with a few other fields, as you'll see here. So when you enter this, there's going to be a couple of required fields, and these are going to be denoted by the little asterisk marks here. So you need a serial number, you need a manufacturer, you need a model number, and you need a unit of measure. All of those things are required in the system. And that's so that when they come through our system here, we can match them up with templates for calibration purposes. So enter your serial number, enter your manufacturer, model number. I know this is not caliper stuff, Fluke 87. But if you enter those one at a time in those boxes that pop up, now you have a completed gauge. So you see we have ID of caliper 002, also reflected up here. There's a serial number, manufacturer, model have been filled in, and our unit of measure has been filled in. Then from here you can go and fill in any other information that you want, range and resolution, or your service date, purchase dates, those types of things. If you wanted to just clone a gauge, like if you didn't want to create one from scratch, say I have caliper 001 here, this is perfect, this is the exact one that I want, I just bought another one, I want to add it to my system. Instead of clicking the plus here to create new equipment and then adding all of those fields manually, there is a cloning wizard option up here as well. The icon may look slightly different depending on what versions we're on. The button kind of changes the way it looks, but it's always going to be Control O, and it's always going to be listed up here. If you hover your mouse over these buttons, you'll find it. So if you hit this cloning option, it's going to come up with a window here. And it's going to give you an option to clone from and to clone to. So again, if you have multiple locations, you can take a gauge from one location and clone it into another location. In this case, we're just going to stick with Mike's lab. I'm going to make this caliper 003 and put in a new serial number. At this point, I could click finish and either finish and it will close and just create the gauge, and you'll land back on the equipment screen, or you can click finish and repeat and it will close this screen and reopen it again, and then you can enter a new ID. So I could create caliper 004, 05, 06, and then just keep going down the process. There are a few check boxes over here. I recommend just leaving these checked, but if you did not want to clone certain information from your original gauge, this is where you can uncheck certain things. Say if you didn't want to bring the schedule across, you could find schedule in here and uncheck that so that it would not bring that across for the cloned gauge. So I'm going to go ahead and just click finish here. And it should land me on caliper 003, my brand new gauge. It is an exact clone of the other gauge, with the exception of the serial number, which is different. And that is how you would get additional gauges in the system. You got add new gauges here and clone gauges here. If you have any questions on this, you can contact me, Mike, at qualityteam@atiquality.com, and I will help you any way I can. Thanks.